Welcome to episode 453 of the Geeks for the Win podcast, the tech and gaming podcast from thegeeksforthewin.com, where we cover all things geeky. I'm your host, William, and I'm joined with my co-host, Stuart.
Known across the internet as Casual Terror.
All right, this week we're doing our gaming and tech show.
Yes.
So I guess, Stuart, what have you been up to? You said you have some interesting stuff.
Why does that not?
Deja vu.
Yeah, it's twice in a row that exact thing has happened.
I was like, wait, you've played that?
No. I fell into a hole.
Burning Ring of Fire?
Yeah, that too. I, for whatever reason, started playing Stellaris.
I've seen you playing this, yeah. And I had to look to see what this was. Like,
this is basically civilization in space. And that's exactly what it is. Because, okay, I've played one full game. All right. And a little bit of another, so, but not much more. It took me 20 hours to play one game. And I had to quit because it was bugged, because it was never going to end.
oh, dang, that sucks.
Because I reached the end point and it didn't end. Because okay, you start in the year like 2200 2200, and you can create your own kind of race, and you can, how did your civilization come to be? There's whole origin things you can go through. Be whatever, but first game I played, I'm just kind of learning the tutorial. I'll play as fucking humans, Earth, soul system, all that jazz. And the end point is the year 2500. So only 300 years. But but the days, you play days, not like months or weeks or even years. But unlike Civilization, though, it's not turn-based. It's all real time. So, and I got a couple of DLC stuff. I got one of the DLCs called Federation, which you can make your own Galactic Federation. I'm like, I'm playing Star Trek, damn it. And I called
it's real time, but it lasts 20 hours. What?
Yeah, because it's that fucking slow. Like I said,
okay. It's just slow. Okay.
Like the game clock, you can see it, what day it is and all that stuff. And you can see it you can see the days ticking by, just scrolling by during the days, and then a month. And then it, and that's actually faster than it is in the game. Even at its fastest setting. Like it takes time. And like I said, and you play 300 years. And that's the standard. You can increase that, or you can play it in the infinite amount, just have the infinite game going. And there's a lot of things that can happen like during the game. There's events that happen at the beginning of a game, things that happen in the middle of a game, and then there's an end game kind of a thing. Usually there's some end game crisis that pulls together all the galactic community to fight this one thing. Like ancient empires can, in the middle of the game, just all of a sudden just appear and just start spreading out and taking over other, they're way more advanced than everybody else. So they just start spreading out, and then they can eventually go to war, bringing in everybody else in the galaxy into this one massive war. And that's one thing that can happen. That did not happen for me, though. What happened for me is this: from outside of the galaxy, this swarm of creatures came in and started spreading throughout the galaxy, and we had to fight them and all that stuff. But what came down to where the bug happened, because the end game crisis has to end for the game to actually end. Okay, it has to reach the year 2500, and the end game crisis has to be done. Those two things have to happen in a standard game. But the home world, or one of the worlds that these creatures invaded, nobody could go down to the planet because of the type of planet that it was. So we couldn't eradicate that planet. And nobody had planet killers. So the game was just ongoing.
Oh, wow.
But like I said, I did hit the year 2500. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm done. There's a bug. We're not ending. I'm just going to start a new game. So I'm trying to kind of stick with the Star Trek theme and make the Borg, or as you would know them, the Cybermen.
Oh, I know of the Borg
I
just
mean,
because of the pop culture zeitgeist. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're more familiar with Cybermen than you are Borg, but
Yeah.
they're essentially the exact same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
So I made the Borg, and just being this and antagonistic kind of race that's, I'm going to end up eventually going to war with everybody, taking over the whole galaxy because I can.
I saw you playing this, and I had to look this up because I was like, "What is this? Sounds familiar. The name sounds familiar, but I just couldn't."
Yeah, because this came out like 8 years ago. And like they're still releasing DLC for it. But what's really hard is if you go back and look at like, okay, what's a tutorial for like, new players. Well, sometime back in like April or May, they released, I think it's the second time they've done this. They completely overhauled the game. It's a completely different game than what was released back in the day. And what's also not great is the tutorial system doesn't quite match it. So it took me a while to figure out how to make fucking ships, because I encountered another bug during my first game, where the space station that was around Earth did not have a a shipyard, but it kept telling me go to your shipyard and build a new science ship. Well, I can't. I don't have one. How do I build a shipyard? Yeah, I don't know. Well, it turns out I had to demolish one of the modules that was on the space station and build a shipyard that way. That was the only way I could do it, because like I said, it got bugged. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that can happen, in this. And there's mods that can like reskin the ships to be more Star Trek, be Star Wars. There's a Stargate mod because one of the DLC races, it's a parasitic insect that can go into people. Like, it's the goal, and you can have slaves. So I'm like, okay, that you can do 100% the gold. Cool.
That is kind of cool. They're leaning towards other sci-fi like stuff,
Oh, there's tons. There's tons of
and allowing
stuff.
people to like play out like stuff they want, like you with
Yeah.
Star Trek and the Federation, and yeah.
Yeah, and one of the crisis events, if you have one of the later DLCs, it says you can become the crisis. So like you can become the superpower that ends up just trying to destroy the world, or you can bring together the Galactic Council and form a temporary emergency power and call yourself Emperor of the galaxy. And oh look, the crisis event is done, but the Emperor's not giving up his power. Star Wars. So, yeah, there's a lot of different types of scenarios that can play out, and there's like it gets like Civilization. That's really only goes like one way. Like no matter how many times you play it, it goes one way. Eventually, the world goes to war because Gandhi decided to nuke everybody. That's how every game of Civilization goes. But Solaris, like this, each game can play out so differently, and it's really interesting. But also at the same time, games are very fucking long, which makes me wonder, how do people play this multiplayer? Like seriously, because people do. There's like 4 or 5 person multiplayer games that people play. It's like,
I wonder if
damn.
there's people who try to speedrun this.
I mean, you can't. I mean,
I mean, you say that to a speedrunner and they're like, challenge accepted.
I'm looking up on speedrunner.com. Okay, how?
I mean, how did people beat Elden Ring in 17 minutes or 7 minutes or something crazy? Like, yeah, there's weird ways to do stuff like that. Like,
The only thing, okay. The only thing I could, okay, there are speed runs of this, but it's for collecting resources or getting to a certain population. Like getting to a goal. That's not the end of the game. Getting to
okay.
this without,
I was about to say, let's speed run. Ends up being 15 hours instead of 20. Like,
oh, you're fucking close. The number one is 14 hours, 10 minutes, and 22 seconds.
oh, wow.
But like I said, like
Yeah,
this is it's for population. That's what this is.
yeah, I saw you were playing this and looked it up because I was like, "Oh, what's this? Is this something that maybe I'd be?" And I was like, "Oh no, this is not my cup of tea. Sorry."
It's also one of the it happened the first day I played it. I started playing it. I blinked. Oh no, the sun. Oh no,
Oh, you had one of those moments?
and I've got to go to work now. Oh no. Yeah, I that was the first day. I was like, oh, okay, can't do that again. But yeah, Stellaris. It's a fun game, but it takes time to play. But like I said, there's so many. Every single game is going to be different, which is cool.
Never been big into those like games where you have to like micromanage and do, you know.
I would say you don't have to because you can automate a lot, but you still have to micromanage a lot though.
Yeah.
Because I at one point like, oh no, crime is on the rise on this planet. Gangsters have taken over the planet and are now trying to spread out. Like, oh shit, okay, I've got a martial law, all that kind of jazz. And then of course with the DLC, you can become the gangster, um, and do have a crime syndicate kind of empire kind of a thing.
Yeah, I get overwhelmed too easily with these type of games. Like I start to get very anxious and overwhelmed, and I'm just like, oh no.
Well, because usually you start with like one planet and then you slowly kind of spread out. It is kind of a slow roll, but by the end you are jumping all over the fucking place trying to do this and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Stellaris. Good game. Good game. Um, another thing that I did, this actually happened earlier today, and I streamed it earlier, about 3 hours ago. I did my first Fortnite event because that was today, and I was kind of underwhelmed. I think it was because of what the whole thing is. The giant mech came back. I don't know if you were playing when the giant mech first appeared and fought a monster on the island. Like there was a whole kaiju fight. And the giant mech came back, and we were in the pilot seat this time. And there were because at some point during the season, the bad guys, the IO, built a super collider on the island, and it was working its way up, and we were destroyed because they were going to destroy the whole island for reasons. And we got into the giant mech, and we came down. We fought through waves of enemies, and we stopped it. And Jonesy and The Rock went off and did their own thing elsewhere. Because yes, it was because there is a character named the Foundation. It is The Rock. Like voiced by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's his face too.
Yeah, I know. I do know about that.
Yeah, they went off and they're looking for the leader of the IO, and that's where it ended. Like I said, I was kind of underwhelmed as like this was my first Fortnite event, and it was just kind of like that was it. All right.
I remember the very first Fortnite event.
It was
We
a
watched a rocket blast off into the sky, and then reality, I guess, cracked
yeah.
because the sky like cracked, you know. So someone got like the world's record for most kills because they killed someone who they killed a big group of people who were on a platform watching, like.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Now like the events you can't kill people during them.
yeah, they made sure of that. Yeah,
Actually, in
so,
fact, this one was only like you went in with like a either a pre-made or just a random squad, and then that was the only other people you saw was those 4 people.
oh wow,
Yeah,
oh,
because
that's interesting.
because like I said, we were piloting the mech, or we weren't piloting the mech. We were doing the gunners, the gun shit.
Yeah, I did see they have like knockoff Power Rangers right now in the store.
That's it. That's what it's for. Because
Yeah,
the mech is a fucking um. I'll pull up a picture of it.
I'm surprised they haven't had actual Power Rangers crossover yet.
You'd think.
Yeah. There's, I mean, as many crossovers as they have had, there's still so many more that that they can do. You know,
Yeah. Now why work? I made sure that I had all this set up right.
I've been getting semi-schooled on Power Rangers because one of my friends is a huge into Power Rangers, like really huge, and he's been like sharing all kinds of stuff, and I'm just like, oh, okay,
There we
that's
go.
interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's huh.
that was the mech from before, um, which I went into this event wearing the skin of that mech. So yeah, it was very much um I don't know. I kind of thought it was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, you're fairly new to the whole Fortnite stuff, so yeah, you've heard a
Well,
lot about
yeah, and I've also
like,
like looked up like past events kind of a thing, and like
yeah.
there was nothing like this. Like this one just kind of seemed kind of dull.
I could see that. Yeah. But you know, who knows, man? That just means the next one's gonna maybe be even crazier and bigger.
Who knows? I'm trying to see if I can find like a good picture of like what like the giant fight kind of looked like. Like there was a huge ass monster in the giant mech fight. Like that was really fucking cool to even to watch on YouTube. But like this one was like no. Then ended with like a to be continued thing
I
of
didn't
like
realize till
some
earlier
mushrooms.
they're in chapter 3 of Fortnite now.
Yeah,
I
this was
feel like
just
chapter 2 was like not that long ago. Like
it wasn't. Well,
it
this
was
was This was chapter 3, season 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, chapter 1 lasted for like it felt like that last in comparison that lasted so long.
Yeah,
So it's it was kind of crazy. That's why I kind of feel like, oh, chapter 2 was, I guess, a lot shorter than chapter 1.
it was.
Yeah, I fired it up to look at those skins just to see like and I'm like, oh yeah, they're all right. Not anything spectacular. That store is like just so flashy and oh my god,
Oh
there's
no,
so
yeah,
much there.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it's a lot. It's a lot of sensory overload. I was looking through everything and I'm like, oh man, there used to be like a handful of choices back when I played, but no, there's so much now.
No, there's a
Like
lot.
it's crazy.
But yeah, that was earlier today. And another thing that I fired up for a little while, because I've been watching Ghost in the Shell lately. Um, I thought I kind of got into the mood to play a game that was heavily inspired by Ghost in the Shell, Cyberpunk. Fired it for a little bit. Created a new character because um I was just gonna do another playthrough and got some mods. Because the game itself runs fine now, but I just wanted some mods just to add some stuff to it. But and I got to like the big kind of intro cut scene. And like there was no characters on screen except for the player character. There were no walls on buildings. Like it was just bugged the fuck out. I'm like, how is this game still so fucking broken? Then I had a thought. I'm gonna go back, disable all of the mods, and try it again. Oh look, there's everybody, and look, oh look, there's walls. That's how it's supposed to look. Oh, the mods fucking broke it. Okay, cool. So then I had a fun thing. I'm like, okay, but I still want to play with mods. But which mods broke it? So okay, great save point before the cut scene, and and just slowly start enabling mods to see which one goes and fucks it up. Like okay,
So you played Mod Simulator before Cyberpunk. Gotcha.
pretty much. And I'm still not 100% sure what broke it. So because there was another thing where like some of the audio wasn't working. Like I had an entire like I did the corpo path where like you're talking to your boss or whatever, and like there was no dialogue whatsoever except for what came from V, your character. Like something's not right. There's supposed to be dialogue here. There's none. Again, it was the mods. So, but that's not surprising because of how quickly and how extensive the patches that's come out for Cyberpunk. That is definitely going to break a lot of mods that were made before any patch. So it's kind of hard to like, okay, I want to do this, but you know this was made before this patch, so eventually I just kind of like fuck it and give up. But I still kind of do want to play through Cyberpunk again because as much as it wasn't the game that we were promised, it was still a good game. not a great game. A great game is the game we were promised, but the game we got, it's still pretty good. And oh boy, are there a lot of nudity mods for the like it almost rivals the Bethesda game on the nudity mods.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I mean, I guess because there actually is nudity in the base game, so like that it's already there. You know, there already are modeled nipples and
Yeah,
modeled.
the assets are already there.
Yeah.
They're just probably covered up.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. They're already there, just
Yeah.
just covered. So
Easy for a modder to
yeah.
undo that. Yeah.
But yeah. That's kind of all I've been playing. What about you? What have you been playing?
I've really got nothing new or exciting. The newest, I guess, it's not new, but it's new season of Destiny dropped. Season of the Haunted, I think. A lot of spookiness, spooky vibes, and
Yes.
some interesting story stuff.
Spooky stuff in June.
Technically May when it dropped. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I was like, why is it called Season of the Haunted? Like, shouldn't they save that for like, you know, October? Like, but I guess, seasons do last, or they're supposed to last 3 months, when they're not like lasting 6 months like 2 seasons ago did. But, and because of that, I feel like the last season, it snuck up on the end of last season, snuck up on a lot of us players because we were used to the 6 months previous.
Right.
And like me and my main group I play with, we took kind of a break from Destiny because we were just burned out. Like and that's when we started like getting into Minecraft and stuff like that. Oh, I did finish my I finished my IMAX theater in our Minecraft world.
Oh, good.
I actually like the snack bar. There's four theater rooms, and they're all in there's the projector rooms up top, and they're all connected to each other, so you can go from one to the next. And like I finally just sat down and was like, I'm gonna bang this out. And I I built a Blockbuster next to the IMAX theater as well, just because I thought it was funny, just for the lols. But back to Destiny. Yeah, jumping back into this new season. There's some interesting stuff. Feels like some of the seasonal, because the way they have it, like each week you have like that week's worth of seasonal challenges, and they're not like exclusive to that week. Like you can jump in, weeks later and complete. It's like Apex. You can go back and play through and complete those and unlock them, but it's some of the challenges you are kind of related to that week, or whenever like there will be like uh, a mode in Crucible that only cycles every like so often, every so many weeks, and there'll be a challenge for that. So like if you didn't do it that week, you have to wait a few weeks later for that to cycle back in, for example. But there's not a whole lot of those. There's some seasonal challenges though that are like, oh my god, this is gonna take so long to do. Like, they reintroduced the Leviathan, which was back in like early D2. where it was like where one of the raids was taking place in. And they since removed that raid, but they released the area and it's now a patrollable area, and it's all overrun by like the darkness, evil stuff. So there's like, it's just it's slightly different. It's overrun by like corruption and stuff, and there's things going on, and you're able to visit like each different raid encounter and stuff like that, and their own little like areas where stuff happens. So it's like that's kind of interesting and cool. Like you know it's reused content. I know a lot of people like kind of complain about that, but like it's reused content done in like a good way, because like I said before, this was just like the raid area, and like you were limited to like going to certain areas, because there'd be like different, like slightly different paths and different encounters. There was a couple weeks worth of rotations where like there'd be different paths and stuff to get through. So you weren't able to really go and do whatever and explore it everywhere. But now you totally can, pretty much. Because like I said, it's like a patrol area now. The seasonal activity is like it's
Trick or
just
treat.
like
You go around.
no, it's like wave based stuff that you have to, it's nothing new or exciting. It's just the same stuff but different area, wave based stuff. But there is like they introduced two like modes to load in on. One is more like, one is supposed to be like a casual thing, and one is supposed to be like a, you only select this load in if you're serious about getting the objective activity stuff done. Like take of that which you will, whether or not people are going to actually like you know take that serious, or if everyone's just going to load in on the serious one and then just like they may be serious about it, or they may not, but at least they're trying, like they're trying to help players who are serious about getting through that stuff and not just like casually
Mm-hmm.
playing around and stuff. At least they're giving that option there. So that's something new. The Solar 3.0, which is the reworked subclass of Solar, the Solar subclasses for the characters released with this season. They released Void last season, and before that was the Stasis, which introduced the whole new concept of how the subclasses are gonna to be, where it's more customizable. You're able to like pick and choose stuff. Um, you're able to like instead of just being locked to like this tree, like it was kind of like a three tree path system where it's like you could go down this way, but you can have like this grenade, or you have this melee ability with this other ability. And there was a lot of issues where it's like, well, I want this ability, but I want to have or it's like I want the like this certain melee ability, but I want to have the well instead of the solar subclass where you're throwing like projectiles
Mm-hmm.
constantly. Um, that's what the new 3.0 versions of the subclasses are. They're like reworked to where you're able to, pick and choose what you want. And then they have what's called aspects and fragments, where you have two aspects you're able to select, and then you can choose fragments, which are like, you know, different uh different modifiers and different like perks to where you can create numerous different builds, actual builds for stuff, which is really cool. I have a build for my warlock where like I'm constantly able to just throw grenades like crazy. and as long as there's like at least a few enemies, I can just keep going, like, and not have to worry about running out of grenade energy or anything like that, which is just it's so much fun. And there's other builds to where you're able to like. I think I was talking to you. Someone put out a video where they called it the Colonel Mustang build uh, from Full Metal
From
Alchemist,
Full Metal, yeah.
because the warlock has a snap where it shoots 4 solar projectiles out, um, and it's like it's someone was definitely a fan of Full Metal Alchemist who created that, because it's just screams, Colonel Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist. And there's a build where you can just like constantly keep doing that. Like you keep getting energy and you can just keep doing that. And the burns apply scorch, which stacks of scorch when triggered by the enemy dying causes explosions, and there's fragments to make the explosions bigger, and there's fragments to make like the explosions spread more scorch on nearby enemies. And so it's all like working together in a synergy type builds and stuff, which is pretty cool. And it's like the first real step to like their calling it an MMORPG, like it's the
I've
first
always hated
steps.
that they've went, oh, we're an MMO. No, you're fucking not. No.
They didn't always call them MMO. It's only the past couple years where they
No,
were like,
no,
yeah,
from the get go, from Destiny 1, before Destiny 1, they said they were going to be an MMO.
I guess, but like they never really like I feel like in the media they never really said like compared themselves to MMOs too much until recently. They've started in the last couple years, but like they're making little steps towards that, I guess. At least the RPG aspects of it, like having different builds and stuff like that, and them being able to, it's pretty fun. I'm definitely enjoying it. There's a new dungeon launched, and I saw a friend tweeted like, this doesn't feel like a dungeon, it feels like a 3-man raid, which I'm like, that's what the dungeon should feel like. I mean, so but unfortunately not all the dungeons they've released have felt that way. This dungeon though, there's a lot of interesting mechanics where like um it involves like all 3 people doing stuff, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like necessarily like you have to have all 3 people be at 100%. Like there can be some like some there's some forgiveness, but like people have to definitely chip in for sure. When we first ran it, we were on the boss for like an hour,
That's a
just because
that's a long time for
well, I mean,
Destiny.
we went into it blind, and we were trying to figure out the mechanics and stuff like
Mm.
on our own, and not like looking up yo 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 it's your boy blah 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 smash that like videos on YouTube.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy. Just smash that like button. I'm gonna tell you how to be the best Destiny. All right.
Ring that bell. Yeah. So we did that. Typically though, in stuff in these type of things, like after a while the bosses will get like enraged to where like it basically just wipes you, but like
Yeah.
that wasn't the case with this time. Like it just let us keep going. Like we were on it for an hour, but we didn't wipe. Like we were just you know we just kept going and going at it. So it's forgiving in that circumstance to where like you can keep at it as long as you want. Like you may be like beating your head against the wall though, not being able to progress, but since then though it's been a lot easier. Like I even uh 2-manned it with another friend because we didn't have anyone else to play it with. So like, you know, as we leveled up and were able to do more damage and stuff like that, and knew the mechanics, things got a lot easier. But you know, it feels really good because, like I said, like there's jobs for all three people to do, and it doesn't necessarily feel like, you know, like certain jobs are way too, you know, wait are more weighted like other past Destiny, like raids or dungeons, stuff like that. There are always like more crucial roles than others. This kind of feels like everyone's roles are, you know, can be swapped
Mm-hmm.
or you know, more or you know, equally as important, I should say. So it's one of my favorite dungeons, I would say. Like I in they also made it farmable so you can keep doing it and earning more rewards, which in the past it's been like, oh, you did the dungeon on this character, switch to the next character, and then once you do all, you know, if you have 3 characters or however many characters you have, once you do it once, like that's it for the week. But now it's they have it to where you can just like keep going through it and getting, you know, more chances to get, you know, you didn't get that certain weapon you wanted, or now you can. Like you can keep going into, you know, and keep getting drops, and so, you know, there's more reasons to actually, you know, keep playing it, which I'm totally for. Like in a game about loot, like not being able to like farm for, you know,
Yeah.
the items you want and stuff like that is kind of was kind of baffling a bit.
Yeah.
So overall, it's been fun. Like, but it's only been 2 weeks so far. Iron Banner, which is their like, I think it's like monthly, the Crucible event, came out, and they brought back a mode from last or from Destiny 1 called Rift. Essentially, it's like an orb spawns in the middle of the map, and you have to pick it up and take it to, you know, the opponent's spawn area, pretty much. And then like, you know, once you do, that ends like the round, and it's like either until the time runs out or first to 5. Um, a lot of people are having complaints. Um, me, me included. It's not really that fun. There's a lot of issues. Just also, I think a lot of it is some of the maps just aren't good for that type of game mode.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that we have our first new Crucible map in like 2 years. Literally, it's been like over 2 years since they've released a new Crucible map.
Come on.
Um, and it's not the best map, especially on this mode. Um, so there's just a lot of sniper lanes, and there's like an area where it's just like wide open, and it's just sniper central, and it's just, you know, that's where it feels like everything takes place, is just the outer this outer area where it's like sniper crazy, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, that's not really good for a mode where you're trying to carry something to an objective point, you know, like being able to be sniped from like across the map when
Yeah.
you're trying to carry something. Yeah. They've come out and said like, yeah, we're taking everything people have said into consideration. We're gonna work on it and whatnot. But yeah, so um, but yeah, that's basically, you know, having fun. Second week of Destiny though, so who knows how long, you know, before, who knows when it's gonna hit the point to like, oh, just run out of content. It's not quite as fun anymore. I've done the dungeon so many times, or I've gotten what I wanted to get, or, you know, who knows when that point will reach. Because it reaches every season for sure.
Sure. Sure.
They've never been able to make a whole season feel like fresh and to the very end. But besides that, the other thing I really play is every day I play a Slay the Spire. Whenever the reset hits, I play the new daily climb option, which is like their, here's 3 different modifiers, and you know, with this character, and you know, it's various different things that could be really good, or like could be really, hurt, or really, you know, really bad. Like yesterday, I think there was a modifier where it was like every room you went to, you lost 1 max HP.
That
So it was really tough and challenging.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
But there was a modifier where it's like when you got a card, you added 3 of that card to your deck.
Okay.
Instead of just 1. So like there's like, the modifiers
So
are
the
good
card
and bad.
that max your HP, that's a good card to have.
Well, my favorite card is like it's a card where it's called innate, or it's an innate card where you get it at the start of your turn, at the start of combat, and it does 1 damage for every card in your draw pile. So the bigger your deck is, the more damage you do at the beginning. So if you have 3 of those, like I was getting, at the very end of the run, I had like 30 health, 30 max health. And you start with like 75 or something like that. But I had 3 of those cards, and I was doing like 100 and something per card damage. And the boss is like 400 health or whatever. But the boss like respawn, like the certain boss at the end, like once he goes to 0, he like respawns again, and you have to beat him again. So it was a little challenging, but like I was able to get through his first form, like first turn. So like there's some interesting stuff behind it, and that's what keeps me going, is the daily climb, where it's like the preset modifiers that they have. It's just like interesting because it's like, it's like the Forrest Gump box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So like, it's just the thing. I do 1 match every day. Whenever it, typically I do it like while I'm eating my dinner or something like that. So yeah, I love Slay the Spire so much. It's such a good game. I'd highly recommend people check it out if they haven't already.
It is a
It's
fun game.
it's free on Game Pass. Like, so if you have Game Pass, you can check it out. But that's basically all I've been playing. Nothing, like I said, the only new thing was like the new season of Destiny. Um, I'm trying to find something to like maybe new to play, but there's just hasn't been anything.
Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we can get into the news. We got
We got
some
some
stuff.
news. Which I don't have any of the images I have on here. The only thing that I really brought for news is there was a new release trailer for Pokemon. Which, and unfortunately we didn't get to see any of the starter evolutions. So I still don't know which I'm going to pick. Probably the damn grass cat. But there was something that made me wonder why it took them 20 years to fucking do this. This new one is going to have fucking multiplayer. And I mean co-op multiplayer. Like you're both in the same damn world, running around. You can be on opposite ends of the entire of the map of the region, but you're playing together. And it's going to have up to 4-player co-op. And because of the open worldness that this one's going to have, there's not going to be a set path that you need to take. So I'm guessing that gym battles are going to be scaled.
That's interesting. Is that the first time that's happened in Pokemon?
I would think so, yeah.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
there'd be, I'm guessing they're going to be scaled to how many badges you have. That would be the marker of what they should do. Is how many badges you have. That should be the scale.
Or maybe the the level of your team.
The average level of all of the Pokemon you caught, maybe, or like your team, maybe. But there's also the thing of like, I also love just completely just out leveling the gym.
Yeah.
And there's the joy in just steamrolling the gym.
It'd be cool if they had both. Like you could like a new game plus mode where it was just like the average of your team
Sure.
type of thing.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool
That'd be cool.
to give that extra challenge. Yeah.
But I am interested on how, because it is open world and there is no like set path to take, what it's going to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
What I am worried about though is that I need to play Sword and Shield again, but what they did with Sun and Moon, and that was they got rid of gyms, and I don't think that was popular. I don't think the removal of gyms was popular. And they are doing, like our Arceus, Pokemon all over the map, but there is more focus on actual battling with other trainers, because there was not in our Arceus at all. Like you could, but it just didn't happen very often, and that also was not the focus of the game, was battling. Which, hey, that's the focus of Pokemon though, is battling.
Yeah.
So, but we did get to see some of the other Pokemon. And the internet has, of course, fallen in love with Lechonk, which is a pig named Lechonk. And I think it's just because it's fucking named Lechonk that people have just fallen in love with the damn pig. I'll pull up an image of it. It is this one right here. That is Lechonk. And its name is Lechonk, so people love it. So, but yeah, I'm so curious about this new Pokemon game. They're adding so many different. They're changing Pokemon with this one.
And they've taken steps with the other ones in that direction as well. So it's interesting to see that there actually are, because for the longest time Pokemon was just, oh, it's Pokemon, but new we're changing the names of, we're just changing the names and the actual, we're adding new Pokemon and that's it. It was pretty much the same games, from Gen 1 to Gen 2 to Gen 3 to
and they added,
it's
like,
nice to see there.
Now your Pokemon can follow you. Now it's set to the time of day. Now there's night and day, and you have to sleep at night. I think that was Gen 2. Added the campfire stuff.
I came across a TikTok they were making fun of like the was it the how the buying a bike is like what, like
A
a
million.
million dollars,
Yeah.
and or it's like and
Or you can,
they
but
were like
with a free voucher, like a
yeah
drug fraud, isn't it?
exactly, you saw that one
I
too.
thought so. It's a
It's so
drug
good.
front.
Yeah. They were like,
They're onto us.
and they were like, oh, but a house is only this much, or this is, but a bike is a mil. Like what? Like it was so good. Yeah. I wonder if anyone's ever like, can you actually buy the bike like straight up with money, or
I don't think unless you cheat, I don't know how you can get that much. Because the only way
like
you get money is through trainer and gym battles. I don't think there's that much polka dot dollars in the damn game.
yeah? Or, I mean, you could, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Like you
Yeah,
have to cheat.
that that'd be it. But I mean, that'd be interesting if like it would allow you to actually buy it like with the money, if they like programmed it to where you actually could or not, you know, like, or if it would like crash the game, or 'cause, yeah, naturally I probably can't do that, so that'd be interesting. You'd have to use like a Game Shark or something, you know,
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah. Here's an article on Nerdist. There is no way. Yeah. Through items, through gym battles, there is no way to get that much money. That much money does not exist in the game.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Oh wait,
So
here's a video of somebody who cheated. I want to see if it
does it
actually.
actually work?
I'm
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's see. He's got the money. Oh, you can't even carry that much money.
Oh wow.
You can
Okay.
only
That's
carry.
crazy.
Get this. You can only carry 999,999.
Wow.
You cannot
That
carry 1 million polka dollars.
that is, oh man. So yeah, that's, wow. Yeah. That's, because I never thought about like whether or not that was actually possible to do. Because there you always were able to get the voucher eventually, you know. So that's crazy. That like, wow. But yeah, it's interesting though. Yeah, I'm glad
That's
Pokemon is evolving and changing.
yes,
No pun intended.
as it should. But that's really the only kind of news that I had. You have another thing of news.
I do. We were talking before that we started. Pretty much the main thing that came from the most exciting thing, at least in the forthcoming future, is from the Sony State of Play, is the Spider-Man games are coming to PC finally.
Yes,
I
amazing that they
mean,
are. We got God of,
everyone's already bought them on PlayStation, so
and it's actually the reason why my sister bought my PlayStation 4 from me, was so she could play Spider-Man.
wow.
But she also does not have a gaming PC, so she couldn't.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah,
But I
but
mean,
this is great because I have yet to
Horizon
play the games.
Horizon Zero Dawn came to PC. God of War came to PC. Spider-Man probably. Oh, and the Final Fantasy VII remake finally came to PC.
Finally, yeah. I need to get around to playing that actually. Yeah.
I bought it on the Epic Starters. I just haven't played it because I never did beat it on PlayStation. A PlayStation 4. I think I got like right up to to like the end. Like, oh, once you complete this, once you're done here, the game was linear from here on out. and that's kind of where I stopped playing.
Gotcha. But yeah, I'm excited to check this out for
Yeah, you'll
sure.
actually get finally a chance to play Spider-Man. This is coming
Yeah,
out
because
in August.
I never had a PS4. I never got around to getting one. So
And they just need to bring Persona 5 to PC, and there's no then there is no reason to own a PlayStation 4.
I mean, the new stuff, or the PlayStation 4. Yes, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah,
and it does take a while for those games to come over to PC, but they do eventually come over now.
yeah. I mean, I guess also like the reason to own a PlayStation 4 is because you can't own a PlayStation 5.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
that's the reason.
Um,
I saw TikTok. Someone was talking about like, oh, they had just announced that there's a new PlayStation bundle with the whatever new Horizon game, and but
Forbidden West.
who cares about the game when you can't even get a PlayStation 5? Like,
Right.
and it's like, oh, is that still an issue? Is that still like, wow?
I saw something like PlayStation 5 just passed like 20 million units. Sony prepares to ramp up production. Why didn't you prepare to ramp up production a long time ago?
I mean, remember when their solution to, oh, can't get a PS5? Well, we're going to start making more PS4s. Like that was literally their like solution at it for a time.
Yeah.
Like uh but yeah, I'm excited about this, especially since my PC I've upgraded it a bit. So like, I'm not going to be able to play 4K mostly cuz, I don't have a 4K monitor anyways, so that's, but
Sure.
I'll be able to, I'll be able still be able to do 1080 and it look real nice and play real well. So I imagine,
Yeah.
so
See, Spider-Man comes out in August, and then in the fall, Miles Morales comes out.
yeah. I like that they're not releasing both at the same time. That's a smart move.
Yeah, I agree.
Give people time to play it and,
Now,
also
my question
pay for
though
it.
is,
Yeah.
with this, are the Spider-Man games going to be included in the PlayStation, um, the Plus Premium thing? Because as of yet, I've seen no reason to get the new PlayStation Plus.
I don't know. Yeah. I haven't really heard anything about it, to be honest. Like anything
Because I
exciting.
thought that, and I'm looking at a graph thing, that one of the tiers you could have, there was access to their PC mode, their whatever they call their PC thing. Um,
Oh, it's just PlayStation Now. Like,
PlayStation Now.
yeah,
Yeah,
where you're able to play on, consoles or yeah, PC. Yeah. They rotated stuff out too, which, like even stuff that they owned, like I think Spider-Man was on there at one point, and I thought about doing the free trial to play it through there, but I was like, how good of an experience would that really be? Like, but reading this article real quick, it is going to be PC specific features. Like it says like adjustable render settings and ray traced reflections coming to the Spider-Man games on PC. So that's good to know.
well, and it's also called Spider-Man Marvel Spider-Man Remastered.
Yeah. Oh, this reminds me. there's a report that Marvel came to to Microsoft Xbox about having an exclusive Marvel game, and they turned it down.
Whoops.
Because they said that the report says that Microsoft just wanted to focus on their own stuff, you know, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's true or not. I feel like if they had a chance to have a exclusive Marvel game, like if Marvel came to them and said, "Hey, you want," like, I'm sure they'd be like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Well, I mean, Phil Spencer has been saying for a while that he's against exclusive.
I feel like that's just like him just saying like we're against paying for exclusives, but making it seem more consumer friendly. That's the way. That's the perception I always got from that. Like it was more of he's against he paying for exclusives.
Well, I'll also ask this. Okay, when they say exclusive, do they mean console only or also PC? Because if hmm.
Well, we were always thinking like Sony, the PlayStation has Spider-Man, and then Nintendo had uh what was it
Mario, like what?
Ultimate Alliance 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we were always like curious, like why did Microsoft no why is there not a Microsoft like Marvel type game, you know? I always wondered that, I always either expected, maybe it was just way in the works, or I was always curious about why there wasn't a Microsoft or whatever. But um yeah, I don't know, like as far as like you were saying, the PlayStation tier thing, I've heard nothing about it really. like like the announcement, and then like that was kind of it. Like,
Yeah, and like, is this supposed to be like? I thought it was like launching like um, this month.
maybe, but apparently, like, it's not exciting enough for like, because like I said, I
Oh
haven't
no,
really seen
yeah.
too much about it.
Okay, it launched 2 days ago in Japan, and it's launching next on the 13th. So 2 weeks from a week from Monday when it launch, which is supposed to launch
Okay.
here.
Have they announced what's going to be on it, or is that like still?
They've announced some of the PlayStation games that are going to be on there, but it's not a lot of the ones you'd expect. Um,
So not their big ones, or they're the ones that people want. Like, so it's not really their solution to Game Pass.
no, it's not.
Because Game Pass has all of Microsoft's first party stuff. Like, that's what makes it so crazy. Is like,
Well, okay, it is an extensive list, and these are not all new games. Some of these are are older. Final Fantasy 9 is on the list. Final Fantasy 10's on the list. Um, the Spider-Man games are on the list.
okay.
Watch Dogs, like it's an extensive list. Here, I'll send you this list. and this is coming from the Japanese side, because it's launched over there. And this also has the list
Oh,
of the
okay.
classic games
Yeah.
that are on, because one of the tiers is to be able to play a bunch of classic games, like God of War 2, God of War 3, Jack and Daxter, Steins Gate. Okay.
Hmm.
And that's just
Okay, so this
that's a novel.
be it'll it'll be interesting. I wonder, like, because yeah,
Bio,
this Japanese list. So I wonder what the
yeah,
list here will look like
but also,
necessarily.
like,
Because
Bioshock on the list.
yeah,
Batman Arkham City's on the list. Last of Us, that's also on this list. That's in a classic though. That's weird.
I'm guessing these Uncharted games I'm seeing are like these the PSP ones or the Vita ones. I guess the Uncharted Pirate King and the Last Hidden, or
Oh, that has to be.
Uncharted Ancient Gods Hollows. Like, yeah, I've never heard of those. Like, those got to be the handheld versions, you
Yeah.
know?
Siphon Filter, that's, see, when I think of like a classic PlayStation game, Siphon Filter comes to mind. But only Siphon Filter 1.
Killzone. Remember Killzone?
Vaguely.
I played the first Killzone on PS2 quite a bit. That was like I got real into that. Multiplayer, you know. I never really the PS3 and all that stuff. All the sequels never got into those really, but yeah, there's a lot of like
I mean,
there's a lot of games. It looks like just to have a big list.
and
But there are some interesting stuff.
yeah. Well, like, here's one I did not expect to see on this list. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I didn't expect to see that, and that's on the classic list. And the classic stuff, that's new stuff. Or that's new to PlayStation. So to have
Yeah.
a now owned Microsoft game on this list is interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, also it is like it is an older game, right? So like
Yes, that's
it's like might as well because it's more money for that game than they probably were gonna get elsewise, you know.
mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's there are some interesting stuff on here. I do say, but
Detroit become human. Doom,
Control,
Control, Children of
great
Light,
game by the way.
um, Darksiders, Division, but not Division 2.
I mean that, yeah, because I mean it's still going on, and that's yeah. Which doesn't Ubisoft have their own thing?
They do have their own subscription service.
And I want to say I saw that's coming to Xbox Game Pass.
I'm sure.
Like their
EA
subscription is coming to.
EA was
Yeah.
kind of when Game Pass came out. EA, now called Play, kind of came on real close behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Ubisoft Plus. Yes, of course it is.
I guess it's just not as exciting when, you're like, it's like, oh yeah, there's some good stuff, but like, it's the whole Simpsons did it. Like, Xbox did it, and like, they just keep adding stuff. And I mean, I'm still amazed on how much they keep adding and how much more is, comes to Game Pass. And it's like, it's just a wait and see. Like, is it going to be the same with this, or is this going
Yeah,
to be like the majority for a while?
and my question though is, Microsoft first party stuff never leaves. Well, Sony's.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing with their with PS Now, like they cycled through their first party stuff, which always seemed kind of baffling. It was like, oh, God of War's on here, but it's gonna leave in 2 months, and it's like, well, really? Like, you're right. That's the good thing about the Game Pass is like their first party stuff is always on there and is always on their day one. You know. So it's gonna be I feel like it is gonna be like a wait and see how, because it's one thing to show the list, but like how is it gonna compare? Because like I've said, we've seen Microsoft with Game Pass just keep adding stuff and keep adding stuff and keep adding stuff, and sure some stuff goes away, but like
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a lot it leaves versus what's coming in, So, but yeah, that's Spider-Man. It's coming to PC.
Fucking tastic.
Yeah, I'm excited. Um, and I guess that's all the news we got. I didn't see a whole lot of stuff. Um,
I mean, nothing. Well, okay. Here's something. I don't have any art. I don't have a thing for it, but um, KOTOR 2 came to the Switch,
oh yeah,
which made me think like, how close is the KOTOR 1 remake? We've heard nothing. We've seen nothing. We heard about it a long time ago that it was being worked on. I think a new studio just got added to the team that's working on it. So I want to know where KOTOR is.
I'm excited for it because I've never played the first one, or I've never played it, so. And at this point, I might as well hold off for the.
Yeah, sure. Because honestly, the one thing about KOTOR 1 and even 2 that does not quite hold up is the combat. I think the combat of the KOTOR games does not quite hold up. And I kind of want it. If you would ask me a year ago, I'd say no, leave the combat as is. But now I'm thinking, no, that combat needs to change because it wasn't turn-based, it wasn't action, it was a queue system. You queued up attacks to then happen.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was definitely different and is something you don't see for a reason. So, um, yeah, I'm just so curious on that remake and where it's at. I want to see
Was
something.
it because it couldn't keep up with like people necessarily
No, I mean,
attacking that quickly, or
there was there were definitely action games at the time were we're doing stuff like that, action games, but I think that was just a style.
Okay. Interesting. Alrighty. I guess we can wrap the show up then.
Yes.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter. Stuart's at Casual Terror. I am at Will Play Games _
Oops, you're over here. You're over here now. Is my camera backwards?
It's definitely on it was like a different view from the other one.
Does that say Star Wars, or is that backwards to you?
Oh, backwards. Yeah.
Okay, I can need to flip my camera. Okay, yeah. So because you're backwards, your thing is over there.
Yeah.
I just realized this.
I should probably flip mine too, but
well, you don't have words behind you.
Yeah, but I do have my shirt that you can kind of see.
Right. So like my D&D time does not make it doesn't.
Yeah. So glad we figured this out at the end of the show.
Yeah.
It fits. But yeah, be sure to follow us on Twitter because Stuart's streaming a bit more. I'm setting stuff up to stream. Like I'm gonna also stream our D&D stuff as well. Now I got that set up in an interesting way.
Cool.
And I'm gonna try to maybe see if my other group wants me to or would allow me to stream whenever we play our other session. So if anything, I'll probably just put that up on like YouTube or something like that because we stream kind of late.
There we
go. But yeah, be sure to follow us on Twitter and until or this has been 453 and we will see you next time.
And remember, no animal harm to making this podcast.